playing this constantly. Pretty much any chance they can get, Adagio goes over to them. They definitely don't like it on the other side of the equation, and G2 Esports thinking about their first pick.
If they go Samuel here, who are you pairing it with? Because I feel like quite frequently you see it with an Adagio or a Lance or a Lyra. All of those are gone now, right? So what's the priority here for G2?
I think the priority here is about picking up a roam that I would say you really want to run. They're not going to do that. They're going to go with Kestrel. I don't know if I completely like Kestrel pickup. The main reason why they would do this, though, is to just make sure they think these are two of the most powerful carries left, and they want to hold on to those, make sure Gankstars can't pair Adagio with either of them.
Yeah, I think totally makes sense the way you broke that down. As far as their roam, Redix was playing it very strong Arden earlier, and I think Arden well, it's going to be taken away right
Tough
there.
luck,
but with the Samuel is actually very strong.
Yeah, I didn't get to touch on it before when Kestrel came through pretty quickly, but I was going to say that leaving Cerberus up with all roam options can be kind of dangerous because it gives Iraqi Zoro and squad time to really draft out something they want. When you pick up the Adagio, it opens up so many doors to a draft. It's very, very good for you regardless of what you run into, and they get that exactly what they want. They get the glaive, they get the Arden to supplement his damage.
This is originally a Team Secret composition from back in winter, the one that Gankstars is running in it. It is very powerful. You just buff up that glaive, he jumps in, he's kind of like a nuclear missile exploding on the back line of your enemy's team. Arden pairs with him, you know, he can back him up. But it looks like G2 are going to pick up a Rhyme here.
Old man Rhyme.
Is this Roam Samuel from them?
Oh man, I definitely think it should be, simply just because of how well Rhyme does into glaive. Rhyme is not incredibly good into Arden, however, simply just due to the nature of Arden's passive.
Talk?
I mean, you could do it.
Got a lot of
I
stun.
mean, technically, you can do whatever you want to do. Yeah. Oh, man, but I mean, like, you know, it's just, once again, kind of a crazy composition. It is only game one, so perhaps they're looking to do something a little new that'll catch us off guard. Well, Redix playing Samuel, I mean, he used to be the laner, right? He did build a Shattered Glass earlier on today. Maybe he's thinking he wants to do something similar here. Let's hop onto the Halcyon Fold. We got Gankstars Cerberus and G2 Esports playing for the first place position this week. Take it away, Scoundrel and Sona.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm glad to see another Roam Samuel.
Well, at least we know what the build's going to be, because if they have any respect for you, they'll all just be building tornado triggers across the board, because I'm pretty sure you're quite triggered once
I'm
again.
thinking that one up, my friend. But, I think when you combine it with something that's a little bit more CC heavy, like Rhyme, maybe it makes a little bit more sense. I mean, look, if teams are running it, there's got to be a reason for picking it. So maybe I should get off my high horse a little bit. But
definitely a reason. The question is, how will there be a Rhyme in this game? Dark Potato looking for that crystal power Rhyme from the jungle.
It's the reason obviously Rhyme amazing into a double melee composition as well, and then obviously you have Valkyrie to provide you the element of closing the gap onto Iraqi Zoro. You also have very, very good sort of gank flank potential coming out from Hundor on this Kestrel, and actually even as Samuel without any crystal power, you can still apply lots of good early game pressure level 2, like you can see Redix is doing right now. That's still an impactful ability, Malice and Verdict. It just becomes less impactful as the game progresses because you're not building any crystal power to naturally allow it to scale.
But it's what Humanist was saying in the analyst segment as well. You know, if you position that Samuel aggressively in that front mustache bush, you can actually put a lot of damage down. And Iraqi Zoro was forced back behind his turret for a little while. All of G2 have come down to the shop just to grab a couple of items, and it is going to be weapon power Kestrel as we expect these days, and the Crystal Rhyme coming in. The Rhyme does allow you that bit of CC, the bit of crowd control that Samuel doesn't have. The question's going to be, how do they match up into the Glaive Adagio when it gets later on?
I think the Glaive Adagio is fine because obviously Rhyme does particularly well into that scenario. I maybe like to see... Oh, okay, Redix getting isolated here.
That he is going to get caught out, and Samuel is the first blood here for Gankstars Cerberus, paying tribute to Scoundrel. They don't want to see Samuel roam on the Halcyon Fold any more than we do at the moment, and that will be the first kill of the game going over towards Gankstars.
Well, absolutely. Now, I think I maybe prefer Roam Samuel into this kind of scenario because this is more of a kite composition with the with the Rhyme here. So then obviously you can try and kite back. You allow yourself with the aftershock to continuously proc that. You have good kite potential as the Samuel, but this is the issue when you run a roam like this, especially into a Glaive Ardent early game. You're going to get punished as much as you can. You know, Samuel just does not stand up as a frontline tank or a damage soak. Rhyme going to go in, however, here.
Dark Potato was looking for the chase. Undor almost overextended in towards Techno JJ, but with that active camo up, Techno really wasn't able to get on towards that Kestrel in the back line, and Undor able to keep himself safe for now. Ever so slight lead in gold for G2. Again, great active camo there by Undor to keep himself alive. He's doing a really good job of timing those perfectly as the afterburn comes in from Techno JJ.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the saving grace for G2 will be Dark Potato once more. I think he's going to have a pretty impactful game here on Rhyme, because as much as I say about Samuel, the combo, the direct combo between Oblivion and Rhyme is a little bit more obvious and a little bit more reliable than that as the combo between Baron and support Samuel, for instance. And obviously we know Samuel can kite incredibly well, so you add that to Rhyme, the damage will stack up over time on this support Samuel. So maybe I think that there's like a double-edged sword picking Samuel, that you have. It's mainly to take away the Samuel pick to the other team, but also you are left with this roam that has less utility and requires a certain situation to be impactful.
Reddick's going to get locked out here. Iraqi's are actually the first to fall in the fight because he was caught out totally by Dark Potato and Hundo, who absolutely melted him down. Now Reddick's looking for the kill onto his net toilet. Winter Spire comes up. Reddick's will fall actually towards the turret, gets taken down in response by net toilet. So Gankstars able to solidify a 1-for-1. Reddick's overextending there more than anything else for that kill to fall.
Hey Nate, let's look at it this way. It looks like Gankstars Cerberus were dead set on trying to focus down the support Samuel. So maybe this is what Samuel does. He just makes people focus him. So
everyone hates him so much they just want to kill him. Iraqi's Gift of Fire trying to heal himself up, but walks straight into the active camo from Hundo, who takes him down straight away in the 1v1. Net Toilet was just around the corner, but didn't have the Vanguard available to keep his Adagio alive.
So yeah, maybe they focus down the Samuel and you just allow your Rhyme to run at the Adagio. But Net Toilet now forced to Vanguard away as Dark Potato comes back into the fold. And I've got to say, I mean, let's look at Hundo specifically. This is a guy that we haven't really seen much of in the competitive scene, especially not in EVE 8. The most information I had about him was that Face, the G2 manager, was incredibly impressed with him, and we'd seen some of him during the Challenger series at some point. He's come in to the EVE 8 and has played out of his mind, really has. I mean, I've been thoroughly impressed with this guy. He has been an absolute joy to watch in the lane for G2 especially, and has had a big impact in their ability to take these games away, I'd say, Sona.
That he has, and switching him into the lane after playing him mostly in the Romeo yesterday as well is quite an interesting decision, and it's worked out really well for G2, you know. They're in the finals, they're playing well against Gankstars. They've got about a 2,000 gold lead already in this game because they've taken down that turret. And they've got this Rhyme jungle that the first time we really saw G2 do this was actually at Gamescom. Playing up against SK, they started to play this Rhyme jungle. Can't quite remember which roamer they were playing it with. I want to say it was an Ardent, but here it's working out quite well with the Samuel as his companion in the jungle.
Yeah, and Redix especially, I think this is specific here because and this is something that Playoff Beard has highlighted. Reddick specifically, obviously we've known him as a traditional carry player, so sticking him onto something like Samuel in a roam position, maybe just, this is something that I talked about earlier, that maybe your comfort in terms of your micro play on a hero is more important than your complete knowledge and use of the particular role you're playing. So maybe this is just slotting Reddix onto a hero that he feels comfortable on, because this is the kind of hero that he played in his previous role all the time, and still can have an impact in a sense with the Oblivion.
G2 doing a good job in this early game of utilizing that extra damage coming out from Samuel. He's really pushing Iraqi Zoro back just by positioning aggressively in this mustache bush. He's going to use that Drifting Dark to push himself forward, try and get that Malice and Verdict to connect. Not quite able to get it, but Corrupted Genius will heal him up, and then he hits the final two shots as well. So G2 now can pressure into the Gankstars jungle and see what they can take away from Techno JJ, who hasn't really had the most impact in the early portion of this matchup. Winter Spire comes down. Dark Potato looking for the Oblivion, will connect on towards the Glaive. However, the rest of Gankstars are just around the corner. Techno JJ will fall though, and now they're in a 2v3 trying to retreat back towards their turret. Iraqi goes low as well, will get taken out and net the final target. G2, one shot, one kill from Hundor's not going to connect, and they will back away from Net Toilette, but they pick up 2 kills pretty easily in that fight.
Okay, so, right, this is going to shock you, Sona, but I'm actually starting to see some theory behind Rome Samuel here, but it has to work in a very specific scenario. I'll maybe talk about it in case just waiting to see if a fight breaks out, but let me touch on it potentially and what I feel it works out specifically here. Not only does it provide you with a little bit early in terms of damage boost, like you said, you kind of run almost a triple threat for the sort of early portion of the game, but also it allows you to combo with the Rhyme really nicely. What I like about Oblivion use here from a support Samuel is that you can follow it up with Rhyme quite easily, but you can continue that follow-up because once Rhyme gets into range of somebody, it's very hard to get out of the range of Rhyme. So it's almost like a setup for Rhyme specifically. What I don't like it in is if you're trying to force a one-shot combo that if you don't make it land, then you have absolutely nothing to follow up with. I like it in the sense that if you're trying to have a continuous, slow, kiting-orientated teamfight, maybe this is something that the Samuel actually has a significant impact with. We're actually seeing Piercing come out onto Redix. He looks like he's actually going towards broken mid, so he's actually essentially taking like an off carry role here, which I think is really awesome. I think this is actually could work in G2's favor.
I like the broken myth idea, but I feel perhaps a Frostburn would be more effective. Just because I know Rhyme has a lot of CC and a lot of slow in his kit, but if you can land that initial slow with a Malice and Verdict, there is no way that Gankstars are going to be able to get away from you without using a lot of their abilities. They're going to have to use Vanguard. They're going to have to use Afterburn. They're going to have to use War Treads as soon as they pick those up as well, or even just use their boots, you know? G2 could really shut down any ability for Gankstars to engage by playing a strong kite, and part of that is having perhaps a Frostburn on Redix instead of this broken myth.
Yeah, I think Frostburn actually, you know when I talked about originally with the Samuel, and I said actually combining it with the Baron, I probably would have preferred to see the Frostburn.
Yeah.
If you remember that. I actually think I agree.
You talked a lot about Samuel tonight, though, ex-Scoundrel.
Yeah, I actually think, okay, yeah. And look, this is me admitting that actually maybe he does work in certain compositions. Maybe I was more infuriated with the compositions or the way he was being played, rather than the hero pick itself. I actually think that Frostburn would be more effective potentially, but that is probably more effective. I mean, in the sense that I don't really know why you maybe want to add more slow here, apart from the fact that you have a backup plan if Oblivion doesn't land. But as long as you allow Ryan to get into position, then you don't really need the Frostburn, and maybe the sort of the broken mistacks is all you need to give Samuel an impactful, damaging role in a team fight. But like you said, I would have preferred to see, when specifically I think it was Team Secret ran it with Crystal Power Baron, I probably would have preferred to see the Frostburn over the Aftershock there. But I much prefer the Samuel in this particular composition because especially if you're going into Broken Myth, you actually remain like a viable source of damage, which is something that Gankstars Cerberus will have to respect.
It definitely is. A 6,000 gold lead has been stretched out here by G2, pulling teeth out of Gankstars, and the question is something funny about dentists there. I was trying to think of a good dentist pun for a second, but I really couldn't get it. Can Gankstars get back into this game funny is the big question. Gankstars have the wisdom to win even after G2 have been able to pull out this lead against them. It's a big lead.
Solid one.
It's a big lead, thanks man. But they do have Adagio, they do have Glaive, they've got Broken Myth finished on Adagio now as well, they've got Alternating Current, they've got Sorrow Blade, they have Atlas actually second item on Techno, so he's just going for a little bit of tankiness under his belt before he tries to jump on towards that backline, on towards that Kestrel, who does have that active camo available all of the time. Now Hundor's gone for the Sorrow Blade into Breaking Point, probably into Tyrant's Monocle third here. A strong build coming out from Kestrel is not what we always see. Sometimes you do see that double Sorrow Blade into Shatterglass if Voldemort is in the game, but he's not at the moment. Hundor just going down his own path on this Kestrel.
Absolutely, and picked up an infusion as well, Sona, so we may be seeing fights break out in the next few minutes. At least G2 definitely think they need that extra little boost to their damage output. There is a weapon power infusion, I believe. No, it's not actually. It's not. It's passive for Techno JJ, but they have picked up double Atlas Pauldrons here, I think specifically for Hundor with that breaking point. But they aren't able to get close enough to him right now because of the Rhyme and because of Redix. I feel like Hundor has been, essentially untouched, and these Atlas Pauldrons really are just sitting there for armor, where the game plan for Gankstars Cerberus, especially with the itemization, seems to be, we need to jump into that back line. But as soon as you do that, you play directly into a Rhyme. You just don't want to be jumping into the back line.
Oh, Net almost gets taken out by one shot, one kill.
Okay.
Dark Potato might actually fall here. Tries to pop the Valkyrie down, but it's not going to be enough. He does fall, and the fountain comes out. G2 were looking for the turret, but they went way too deep trying to kill Net Toilette, and we'll have to just back away for now. That's a good kill picked up by Gankstars Cerberus that keeps their turret alive as well, which means G2 can't force their advantage any much further.
Yeah, the thing about Gankstars Cerberus, especially when you run Arden Glaive, it's a very aggressive duo, right? You're looking to pick off and jump in, and you also provide a little bit of appeal for Iraqi Zoro, but it's not exactly the main directive. You have that sort of double way that you can move with it. But the issue is that when you do that into a Rhyme, you're just running directly into Rhyme's lair, per se. Rhyme will just sit there, landing Spire after Spire. When the two melees jump in, it does all the hard work for him. So then you have to run into this complete peel composition. But actually, speaking of that, Hundor, targeted.
Hundor has been targeted down. Crucible comes out. Iraqi's still looking for the chase. Techno will get stunned up. Dark Potato can step forward here if he wants to and try and put the damage down. Net Toilette has overextended, but so has Hundor, and Hundor will fall. Net Toilette using the Vanguard onto Iraqi Zoro to keep him alive. G2 2v3 trying to back out of the fight. Can they re-engage? There's the Winter Spire, there's the Drifting Dark, there's the damage onto Net, and he has fallen. Techno, the new target. It's a double for Dark Potato. It's going to be the triple for him as well. He'll take the ace by himself, basically. Redix helping him clean it up. They'll get the gold mine as well. Oblivion by Redix on towards the gold mine. Didn't even need it in the fight. G2 absolutely cleaning up house here against Gankstars Cerberus.
Okay, look, I'm taking back everything I said. This is exactly how... Yeah, I know, right?
Mate, you should go to the beach because you've got a pair of flip-flops on at the moment.
Yeah, I'm flopping all over the place. But this is okay. All it takes is one person to change my mind and show me how something is supposed to work, and I will learn from it, right? Redix has shown me that you can play support Samuel, but you just play him as a guy who picks up Crucible and Fountain and then just becomes an off damage dealer. Now, I guess this is the theory, right? This has become clarity in my mind, right? The theory for, I think, Mowgli was, I think I'll have the most cost-effective damage output with Aftershock. Because he didn't think he would make the gold needed to make a Broken Myth work. So what you're seeing from Redix here is like, no, I'm going to invest fully into a Broken Myth. And you're seeing his damage output is far superior.
Here comes the damage, though, onto G2. Hundor has been targeted down here by Gankstars, but Neck takes a total Valkyrie to the face. Has to try and get himself away from this one. One shot, one kill is not going to connect. Dark Potato still looking for the chase. However, Iraqi Zoro has been left to do a huge amount of pain from the back of this fight. Redix had to step forward and protect his Rhyme there for a second, though. See if they can take this Treant away and give it across towards Dark Potato. It's actually Redix who takes it. And now he's going to step forward once again with a Drifting Dark. Almost takes down Techno JJ. Gets the couple more shots on towards Net Toilette as well, and will back away just for now.
So he looks like he's going towards either a Shatterglass or a Frostburn. Now, I would be over the moon if he went for a Frostburn, because I think alongside that Broken Myth, you don't necessarily need ultimate amounts of damage at this point in time, because you have everybody else providing that kind of thing for you. And the funny thing is about Rhyme is he almost acts as a tank sonar. He almost acts as that tanky... Oh, Kraken has been unleashed, by the way.
He was able to take the Kraken. Gankstars looking for a fight off this one. Net Toilette gets taken so low. Glimmer right off the edge. Actually, it was Redix who picked up the kill now. Iraqi the target. Valkyrie comes down onto him. He'll get stunned up. And it's all up to Techno JJ to try and defend, or try and at least escape from G2, who popped the War Treads for the chase. Malice and Verdict connecting. If only they had a Frostburn, they could slow down that glaive, but it's not going to be enough. Techno will afterburn his way across the wall, but with the Kraken pushing in, it's going to be an incredible hold from Gankstars, from Techno specifically. If he can do it, he'll get back to Sanctuary just in time, but the second Crystal Turret's going to fall, and G2 are going to take the Crystal. They're going to go 1-0 up versus Gankstars Cerberus as soon as they take this Crystal down, and Dark Potato will be the one to do the honors. Actually, Hundor getting it, but 9 kills to 4. Rhyme, Jungle, Rome, Samuel. Changed your mind about that, Rome, Samuel, and definitely changed mine as well. G2 showing us how it's done.
Yeah, and a lot of this is to do with multiple factors, and I'm going to break it down in a really sort of basic level again.
Break it down.
Rhyme actually acts Yeah, Rhyme actually acts as basically like a tank, right? And into a double melee, he is super strong because he's continuously able to build fortified health. Against the range type compositions, Rhyme will really struggle because although he can land damage, a lot of his benefit comes from being able to build that fortified health through base